Good morning, guys. Dropping another video here. It's Niblina's Nifty Notes and Cubed. We're on lesson 8, and today our learning goal is students will be able to read and write decimals in different forms, such as word, expanded, and standard form. Okay, so if we let me exit out of this. All right. One thing that we kind of been doing is working on decimals, right? And we use a place value chart. I got a place value chart here, okay, to kind of help us. Oop, not that one. There we go. Okay. So again, the learning goal said expanded form, right? We worked on expanded form, word form, and what was the one more? Standard form. Okay. So these are all the three forms that we kind of worked on, right? I'm going to focus on right now is word form. I'm sorry, a standard form. Now remember, standard form, okay, is how I like to say the regular way, right? Standard form, we kind of took in our notes regular way, just how decimal spots are or numbers with decimals are written out regularly, right? So when we see a number, we say 23.19, and I'm sorry, I said it incorrectly. It would be 23 and 19 hundredths, right? Or it could be 432 and 213 thousandths, right? So the reason I have this place value chart up is because some of you guys already have and may have memorized the place value chart. We got our tenths, we got our hundredths, and our thousandths. And on the left side, we're going into our wholes, ones, tens, hundreds, and thousandths, right? Some of you guys have already memorized the place value chart. Some of you guys still need to work on that, and that's okay. But just remember, on Monday, we did take notes and put the place value chart in our notebooks. So you please have your notebooks out and use it as a reference if you still have trouble knowing where your place value spots are. Okay. So when we write it out a regular way, let's look at 23 and 19 hundredths. Okay. So I would write 23 and right, the decimal stands for and 19 hundredths. Okay. 23 has two tens. Okay. 23 has three ones, one tenths, and 9 hundredths. All right. If I look at 432, I'm just going to write 420, 32, and, right, decimal stands for and, 213 thousandths. Okay, now some of you guys say, Mr. Niblin, I still have a tough time kind of saying the numbers. I don't know how to say the numbers. Well, here's a trick. You always look where your last digit falls, whatever place value it falls under. That's how you say it. So if my 9 is falling under my hundred spot, I'm going to finish off with the hundreds. I would say 23 and 19 hundredths, right? On the next one, we have 432 and 213 thousandths. All right, let's go a little smaller. Let's say I had 4 and 3. 4 and 3, well, what does 3 fall under? It falls in the tenths place value, so I'd say 4 and 3 tenths, right? So again, this is the standard form, right? Just writing out the numbers regularly, like right here, okay? And on our quiz later this week, it's gonna give you two different forms. It might give you an expanded form, and it might give you in word form, and it's gonna ask you to write in standard form, the regular way. So you have to kind of put it back together, right? Kind of like putting a puzzle together. All right. So the next one is I'm gonna erase this. Okay. Let's go to word form, which I think is not difficult if you say it correctly, right? If you say it correctly, you could write it correctly, all right? So let's look at, again, I got 23 and 142 thousandths, right? So again, if I want to put this out on my place value chart, I can. I got 23 142. Oh, the 2 lands in the thousand spot, so I say 142 thousandths. Now I just got to write it. Okay, how do I say it? 23. Okay, 23. I put a hyphen when I say double digit numbers, 23. Okay. Remember, the decimal means what? It means and, right? The decimal means and. So 23 and now I just say this whole number, right? I say 142. If I want to block out, erase 23 and the decimal, what number is that right here? It's 142. 142. So that's how I would write it down. 140. Here comes a hyphen. 2. Now I'm going to put it back there. Now, what place value or what place does my 2 land on? It lands on my thousand. So that's how I finish the word problem. Thousandths. Remember, THS. Okay. So that's word form. Okay. So you just got to, how you say it is how you write it down. And that takes a little bit of practice. All right. Now we want to look, let's do expanded form now. Okay. I'm going to erase all this. It's probably a quicker way to erase this. I just need to figure it out. Okay. So I'm going to erase, let's do a new number. Okay. We're focusing on expanded. Now, expanded is probably the most difficult form, but with practice, just like everything, you'll get it. In expanded form, there are 2 separate ways to write it. Okay, the first one is decimal. Okay, and the second one is fraction. And they're both relatively the same, only a few minor changes. Right, and when we write decimal forms in, we have to use decimal, right? Decimal form, obviously. In fraction, we use fraction bar. Okay, so decimal. How do we write tenths in decimal form? It's 0.1. Okay, how do we write it in fraction form? We would say 1/10. Okay, and how do we write hundreds? 0.01. Right, so if I want to do 1/10, 0.01 for hundreds, which I just did. Okay, let's do thousands would be 0.001 for thousands. So it'd be 0.001. Remember, what place value does this fall in? It's 1, so you say 1,000ths. This falls in hundreds, so you say 100ths. This falls in tenths, so you say 1/10ths. All right. Now, how do I write 100ths? I think it's easier to write in fraction form because you say 1/100ths. How do you say 1,000ths? 1,000ths or 1/1,000ths, 1/110th, 1/100ths, right? Okay. So let's look at a number. All right. I'm going to erase this stuff over here. Let's say I want to write out, let's see, let's go 100. Let's start off small. Let's go 17 and 234 thousandths. Okay, I'm going to break up this number. Let me write this over here. 17, 2, 3, 4. Let me erase this over here. Okay, and let's put it in our place value chart. 110, 7, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now in expanded form, I'm pretty much decomposing the numbers. I'm pulling them apart. I'm expanding it, right? And I'm going to put them in parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to look at my ones, right? I'm going to pull out each individual number. Okay, I'm going to multiply it by whatever place value it's in. So my 1 is in my tens, right? Okay, perfect. I'm going to add it. And my 7, multiply it. What is my 7 in? It's in the ones. So I'm going to multiply it by 1. I'm going to add. Now I have 2. What place value spot is in my 2 in? It's 1/10. Give me 1 second. All right, pauses. Well, sorry guys, I had an interruption real quick. So if I have 2, let's go back to this. I'm sorry, 2. I'll multiply times 1/10, right? Because it's in my 10 spots. The next one's going to be 3 times what spot value is my hundreds? It's in the hundreds, 100ths. The next one is 4 times 1,000ths because my 4 is in my thousandth spot, right? So if this is expanded form, what form two ways of it's either decimal or fraction. Which way do you think it's written in? It's fraction, right? Because if you look at all these are all fraction that represent the tens, hundreds, and thousands. Now, if I would write it in decimal form, I'm going to use a different color. It's the exact same thing. I'd go 1 times 10 plus 7 times 1 plus 2, okay? And if we look over here, what forms of way do I have them to represent tenths? 0.1, okay, perfect. Plus 3 times 0.01, because that represents 100ths, plus 4 times 1. Oops, see, I'm writing in fraction form. That's actually should be 0.001. Okay, so now this is fraction form, and this is decimal expanded form. Okay, so again, feel free to just pause and go back. Maybe try it on your own. This is just another way. Put some examples on, maybe make them up on your own. This is a video you can just, if you get it, just go ahead and fast forward some of the parts where you may need to help on, or rewind it. Like, oh, I don't know how you got that. Just go back, okay? And use this video to help you to do your homework, help you to study for the test, the quiz coming up, and all that good stuff. Okay, I hope it kind of worked in your favor. Again, try to know your place value if without referencing, without going back in your notebook and trying to figure out what to do. It's easier if you just know where the tens and hundreds and thousand spots are. Your tens and your ones, hundreds and thousands. Just know where they are. Okay, know that 0.1 and 1/10 are represent the tenth spot. 100ths and 0.01 are the same. 1,000ths and 0.001 are also the same. Okay, just like everything, we just need to practice. How you say it is how you write it. Standard form, right? It might give you this right here in expanded form. It's going to say write in standard form, which this is right here. You will look, well, I know my 1's in my 10th spot, 7's in my 1 spot, okay? My 2's in my 10th spot. I know my 10th is right here. I have 3 in my 100 spot. 3 is my 100 spot's right here. I have a 4 in my 1,000 spot. So this is my number right here, okay? Now, Mr. Nablina, what if I don't have, let me erase this mess right here. What if I don't have a 10th spot, Mr. Nablina? Well, what do you think goes here? If there's no 10th spot, am I going to leave it blank? No, I put a 0 there, right? Okay. So again, if you need help, just let me know. Reach out. I hope this video helped. I'm going to go ahead and pause and let you guys get back to work and all that good stuff. Thank you.